produce much more than that. What China is teaching us is that the Western economic model, the fossil fuel-based, automobile-centered throwaway economy, is not going to work for China. If it doesn't work for China, it will not work for India, which by 2031 may have an even larger population. Nor will it work for the other 3 billion people in the developing countries who are also dreaming the American dream. And, most importantly for us, in an increasingly integrated global economy, where we all depend on the same oil, grain, and steel, it will not work for us either.
In your speech, one was very clear. You see, the main thing is to bring the external costs in the cost of energy. Now, the main question is how to bring the people to accept this, because this is the main problem of politics.
It's a big challenge, and we do not yet have enough support for this. We, of course, would not do it overnight. The numbers in the United States are that we now pay about $3 a gallon for gasoline, and that includes the cost of getting the oil out of the ground, refining it into gasoline, getting the gasoline to the local service station. But there are far bigger costs associated with burning a gallon of gasoline, which are the costs of treating respiratory illness and breathing polluted air, the cost of climate change, for example, which are huge. And if we include all those costs, then we should be paying not $3 a gallon, but $10 a gallon. And the challenge is to introduce this over time and to do it in a way that does not increase taxes. So the key is to reduce income taxes and to offset that with energy taxes. And this, I think, is our challenge. How do we restructure the global economy in the time that's available? The problem is we don't know exactly how much time we have. We know there are critical thresholds which, once crossed, we can't reverse. Despite all the work we do on climate, we still do not know where those key thresholds are. But the sense is that we don't have much time left.
For this, what could be the strategy of arriving really to reduce the consumption of energy?
If we incorporate all the costs of burning fossil fuels, whether it's gasoline or coal-fired electricity or what have you, then the economy will begin to adjust to that. It's important to remember we're not changing the level of taxes. We're only changing what we tax. We want people to work. Mm-hmm. We want people to save. Those are good things. Mm-hmm. We don't want to overtax those. We want to reduce those taxes, but we don't want to destroy the Earth's ecosystem and disrupt the Earth's climate system. Many of you are familiar with an American corporation that was named Enron. Enron, in the late 1990s, was probably on the covers of more business magazines than any other company in the United States. It was a phenomenal success. Its value climbed to $60 billion. It was the 7th most valuable corporation in the United States. There was one problem. They were leaving costs off the books. And so all the economic indicators, the growth of the company, the net income, the price of the stock, everything looked great. Until someone launched an investigation into the company. And what they discovered was that it was worthless. It was worthless. Bankrupt. We are doing exactly the same thing that Enron did. We, too, are leaving costs off the books. And you can do that in the short run, but not in the long run. At some point, you have to deal with those costs that are not being recorded. Socialism collapsed because it did not allow the market to tell the economic truth. Capitalism may collapse because it does not allow the market to tell the ecological truth. Incidentally, we may be the first generation that has not taken the future into account for our children and grandchildren. We're behaving as though it doesn't make any difference. And that could lead to eventually to a social fracturing along generational lines. We know social fracturing along racial and ethnic and religious lines, but we could see it for the first time along generational lines as the next generation, as our children ask us, how could you have left us such a world?
If you will summarize, are you prudently pessimistic or prudently optimistic?
I'm hopeful. I do think we have the alternatives, the alternative technologies to build a new economy that will sustain. We talk about sustaining economic progress. What we're really talking about is sustaining our early 21st century civilization. Because if we stay with Plan A, anything close to business as usual, and watch China and the rest of the world unfold, it's not going to work. We need to change. We can change. We have the technologies needed to restructure the global economy. What we do not yet have is a sense of urgency and leadership. Thank you.
Okay, so I see there's some hope.
There is.
Okay, thanks.